Hey Saber fans, are you looking at getting a hero tier neopixel lightsaber from Saberforge? Well, there are some things to consider because they have a patented thread-in pixel blade. In this video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of this blade. Whether you are a newcomer or already own one, this video will be helpful to you. I'm Graypaladin, and welcome to my saberhood. So the Saberforge version of the neopixel blade is very much similar to industry standards, and that is they use a thick wall heavy grade polycarbonate tube, and then it has some reflection and diffusion on the inside with two LED strips. The big difference with theirs is that they utilize this adapter that receives a 3.5 millimeter jack. The adapter is quite thick and it screws into the hilt. If you look at a standard blade, they use this flat PCB, and that makes contact with either 7 or 11 pogo pins, which then transmit the data to the LED strips. Inside the standard hilt, you will see those pogo pins on the inside that make contact with that PCB. In a hero tier Saberforge hilt, you have a 3.5 millimeter, almost like an audio or auxiliary jack, and that inserts into that adapter that I showed you earlier. When inserting the blade, it's a bit time consuming, and I find this to be a con. You have to be careful when you insert it in so that way the pin gets directly inside the adapter, and then you have to twist. As you can see, I'm rotating a while before it finally gets all the way in. There it goes. You do not want to over tighten because that pin on the inside is screwed into the hilt. If you screw it too tight, as you loosen it, you're also loosening the pin on the inside. I had this problem and my pin ended up coming loose, and I had to take the emitter off, very carefully twist the wire so I had a decent grip, and then screw that back into the emitter, and then screw the emitter back onto the hilt. This was very frustrating, and I didn't feel like for the amount of money that I spent for this saber that I should have to do something like that. Yes, I could have sent it back into Saberforge, but the customer service takes a long time to reply. That would have been a very long and time-consuming process that I did not want to deal with. Now, some may say because it's screwed into the hilt that you don't have to tighten the retention screw. I disagree. Make sure that you do tighten the retention screw, because this will prevent the blade from coming loose, as well as you don't have to tighten it very stiff or very hard into the hilt, because again, if you do that, you could loosen the pin on the inside. So basically make it tight just enough where it doesn't move, and then you secure it again with the Allen wrench. Now, pro, once I screw in the blade, it is very secure. Saberforge prides themselves on having dual-worthy sabers, and now that you have a very stable and strong blade that has double security screwed in and tightened with the retention, I think that's a huge pro. So this is something that you can really say is an advantage. It illuminates just as fine as anything else because it has LED strips on the inside, just like every other neopixel blade.
It is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force, but by our skills with a lightsaber.
And as you can see, it works just fine. The only thing that I don't like is that if I shake the blade, you can hear the LEDs rattle on the inside, which I don't think should happen, and it also doesn't feel good. When you do a clash or you're swinging a saber, you can feel that vibration, that movement of the rattle inside the blade. So that is also a con for me as well. Once you want to load or unload the blade, it's a time-consuming process. which again I find is a con. If I take a standard blade, all I have to do is just put that in, tighten up, and it's going to work just fine. That was only a couple seconds. Again, loosen, pull it out, and I'm done. With this thread-in blade, I have to loosen that retention screw, and then once I get that done, I have the long unscrew process of the blade. And there it is. So that's a con for me. The other huge con was the pin coming loose. And for me, I ended up having to put some Loctite glue in there to secure the pin because it kept coming loose. And this hilt is primarily a shelf clean for me, and I think I've only inserted and taken off the blade maybe a handful of times, probably 20, 2 or 3 doing this video, and that pin already came loose. So if you're someone who's very active with your saber, putting the blade on, taking it off, you know, you might have some issues with that pin on the inside coming loose. Another con that I see is that you are very limited to where you can get your blade. This blade is $125 US, and you can only get it through Saberforge unless you have the talent and skill to get this adapter and do it yourself. Most people probably don't want to hassle or have the ability to do that, so you're stuck, you're boxed in purchasing your blade from only one source, which is Saberforge. Whereas with a standard neopixel blade, you can pick these up anywhere and you can find them as cheap as $50. So that's something to really keep in mind. My personal opinion, if I had to choose, I would go with the standard blade. I just feel like it's more sturdy and durable on the inside. I don't hear any rattling going on. It's not quite as heavy. Even the heavy grades don't feel as thick as Saberforge's. And I have more options. I can get a day blade, I can get different lengths, it doesn't matter. I can get a standard neopixel blade anywhere in the market, but if you have a hero tier saber from Saberforge, you're limited to just getting it from Saberforge, or you have to make one yourself if you can find the parts. So I hope this information was helpful to you. Please leave comments down below. If you have experience with a thread-in pixel blade and you like it or don't like it, let us know down below. Let's start a conversation and help those out for those who are shopping or those who may consider getting something else if they already have one. If you're finding this video helpful, please consider giving it a like. And subscribe and enjoy my saberhood. I'd love to have you on board, and you can hit that bell as well so you can get updated with all my future content. Thank you very much for watching, and may the Force be with you.